I've been living in style, unaccustomed as I am to the luxury life. I've been hitting the down and it didn't hit back. I've been doing the rounds, unaccustomed as I am to the time on my hands. Now I don't have to tell anybody when I'm gonna get back. Ever since you went away, I had this sentimental inclination not to change a single thing. As I pull the sheets back on the bed, I want to go bury my head in your pillow. Now that I'm alone again, I can't stop breaking down again. The simplest thing set me off again and take me to that place where I can't find my brave face, where I can't find my brave face, my brave face. I've been living a lie, unaccustomed as I am to the work of a housewife. I've been breaking up dirty dishes and been throwing them away. Ever since you left, I have been trying to compose a baby, will you please come home note meant for you. As I clear away another untouched TV dinner from the table I laid for two. Now that I'm alone again, I can't stop breaking down again. The simplest thing set me off again and take me to that place where I can't find my brave face, where I can't find my brave face, my brave face. Okay. Anna Karenina. And it's been like a week or something since I have done this, so I forgot what chapter I am on. What chapter am I on? What chapter am I on? Part 2, chapter 35. We on part 3 now. I went to this dinner place, and they gave us cotton candy for dessert. So now my mouth is just like all cotton candy-y. Where we at? Okay. Part 3. Sorry, I need to take my coat off. I literally just got home. I literally just got dropped off. Okay. Let's go. Part 3. Sergius Ivanich Koshnishev, wishing to take a rest from the mental work, wanted to stay with his brother in the country instead of going abroad as usual. According to his views, country life was preferable to any other, and he had now come to his brother's house to enjoy it. Konstantin Levin was very pleased, especially as he no longer expected his brother Nicholas to come that summer. But in spite of his affection and respect for Koshnishev, Konstantin did not feel at ease with his stepbrother in the country. To Konstantin, the country was the place where one lived, that is to say, where one rejoiced, suffered, and labored. But Koshnishev, the country was, on one hand, a place of rest from work, and on the other, a useful antidote to depravity, an antidote to which he resorted with pleasure and with a consciousness of its utility. To Konstantin, the country seemed a good place because it was a scene of unquestionably useful labor. To Koshnishev, it seemed good because one could and should do nothing there. Besides this, Koshnichev's attitude toward the peasants jarred on Konstantin. Koshnishev was wont to say that he knew and loved the common people. He often conversed with peasants and was able to do it well, frankly, and without affectation, deducing from every such conversation data in the peasants' favor and proofs of his own knowledge of the people. Konstantin regarded the peasants as a chief pattern in common undertaking, and despite his respect and the feelings of a blood tie, probably, as he said, sucked in with the milk of his peasant's nurse, he, as a partner in their common undertaking, though often filled with admiration for the strength, meekness, and justice of these people, was very often, when the business required the justice of these people, other qualities, exasperated with them for their carelessness, untidiness, drunkenness, and untruthfulness. Classism. Had Konstantin been asked whether he liked the peasants he would not have known what to answer. He both liked and disliked them, just as he liked and disliked all human beings. With his natural kind heart, he of course liked human beings more than he disliked them, and naturally the peasants were included, but he could not like or dislike the people as if they were something apart, because he not only lived among them, his interests closely bound up with theirs, but he considered himself one of the people and could not find himself any special qualities or defects which placed him in contrast with them. Moreover, though he had lived in very close relations with the peasants as their master, mediator, and above all their advisor, the peasants trusted him and would often come 30 miles to consult him, he had no definite opinion concerning them. Had he been asked whether he knew the people, he would have been just as much at a loss for a reply as he was for a reply to the question whether he liked them. To say that he knew the peasants was tantamount to saying he knew human beings. He continually observed and learnt to know all sorts of human beings, among them human beings of the peasant class, whom he considered interesting, constantly discovering them in new traits and altering his opinions accordingly. Kosnichev, on the other hand, just as he praised country life as a contrast to the life he disliked, liked the peasants as a contrast to the class he disliked, and regarded them as contrast to humanity in general. His methodical mind had formed definite views of the life of the people, founded partly on that life itself, but chiefly on its contrast. He never altered his opinions about the people, nor his sympathetic attitude toward them. In the disputes which took place between the brothers when discussing the peasants, Kosnichev was always victorious, just because he had definite views about them, their character, attributes, and tastes, while Constantine had no definite and fixed views and was often guilty of self-contradiction when arguing on that subject. Kosnichev thought his younger brother a splendid fellow, with his heart in the right place, but with a mind which, though rather quick, was swayed by the impression of the moment and was therefore full of contradictions. With an elder brother's condescension, he sometimes explained to him the meaning of things, but could find no pleasure in discussion, because he could gain too easy a victory. Constantine considered his brother to be a man of great intellect, noble in the highest sense of the word, and gifted with the power of working for the general welfare. But the older he grew, and the more intimately he came to know his brother, the oftener the thought occurred to him that the power of working for the general welfare, a power which he himself, entirely destitute, was not a virtue, but rather a lack of something, not a lack of kindly honesty and noble desires and tastes, but a lack of the power of living, of what is called heart, the aspiration which makes a man choose one out of all the innumerable paths of life that present themselves, and desire that alone. The better he knew his brother, the more he noticed that Kosnichev and many other social workers were not led to this love for the common good by their hearts, but because they had reasoned out in their minds that it was a good thing to do that kind of work, and took to it accordingly. What further strengthened this conviction was noticing that his brother did not take the question of the general welfare, or of the immortality of the soul, any more to heart than a game of chess. Another thing which made Constantine Levin feel his brother's presence inconvenient was that in the country, especially during the summer, while Levin was always busy with the farm and the long summer days were too short for doing all that had to be done, Kosnichev was resting. But even though he was resting from mental labors and was not writing, he was so used to mental activity that he liked expressing his thoughts in an elegant, concise style, and liked having a listener. His most usual and natural listener was his brother, and therefore, despite their friendly relations, Constantine felt uncomfortable at leaving him alone. Kosnichev loved to lie basking in the sunshine, talking lazily. I don't know what voice to give them. You can't imagine what a pleasure this complete laziness is to me. Not a thought in my brain. You might send the barn rolling through it. But it wearied Constantine to sit listening to him, particularly because he knew that during his absence the manure was being carted into the field, and it was impossible to guess where they would throw it if he were not there to see. The plowshares, too, would not be screwed up properly or taken out, and then he would be told that these plows were a silly invention. How can they be compared to the old Russian plow, and so on. Haven't you walked about enough in this heat? Said Kosnichev. No, I must look in at the counting house for a moment, answered Levin, and off he ran to the fields.